I'm going to be talking about the California Alternative Assessment. And I have to admit that I didn't know anything about it when I first started the topic. However, what I learned was that the California Alternative Assessment, it's also called CalAlt by the educators that deal with this type of assessment, is that it is California statewide and it is for what is classified as the most significant cognitive disabilities. It exists for English language and arts literacy, or ELA, mathematics, and science. And California Alternative Assessments are part of the California Assessment of Student Performance and Progress Systems. They do testing in grades 3 through 8 and also in 11th grade. The CalAlt, or California Alternative Assessment, is individualized. So when they are doing the testing, all testing is done one-on-one with a student and a teacher. They're working on creating a very engaging environment, so they have recently switched to a computer-based program testing where they provide a wider range of support, so it makes the test more interesting, more meaningful to students. They have new supports and safeguards, and in one video that I watched, an educator said that education needs to be for all levels and abilities, serving students' best interests, and that includes these rather challenged students. The goals of the California Alternative Assessment are that these students receive a deeper learning, that they have what's called core content connectors, which is an alternative achievement standard that is linked to the Common Core state standards. They were developed by the National Center and State Collaborative. They reflect new skills students are learning in the classroom every day. So these students aren't actually tested necessarily. They are tested on Common Core standards, but they have like their own form of standards, and they want to make sure that the kids are being tested on what they're actually learning in class based on each individual's needs. Results are provided almost instantaneously because they are computer-based now to provide parents and teachers with information to improve instruction and learning in general. There are 3 levels of complexity, and they're constantly working on revising to enhance the program for quality and reliability. The administration of the California Alternative Assessments are that before they test, teachers do surveys of their students and their characteristics, and they develop a customized support during that testing. So they might sit with each one sits with a student, and they'll have specific information that they're going to test those students on. They use technology to improve testing. They make it more engaging for students. They include things like animation and video clips. They can drag and drop their answers. The teacher can help if the student has physical impairments to drag and drop things, and it's very customized. And it gives the students a greater opportunity to demonstrate their knowledge. So they can reflect their grade appropriate materials, and they can also test in the same language as their instruction that is whatever language their instruction is being done in. The testing of the California Alternative Assessment is that students work with their teachers, and the teachers have access to all these different training materials and different types of questions that they can actually work with their students on to grapple this new material. And then they have practice tests, so they can practice, and the students can really work to do the test in the setting the way that they would normally do the test. And so they can really prepare the students to take these tests. They can be familiar with the resources and how the type of information that they're looking for, what the test is looking for as a result of the information. So they want you to drag this picture to this box, for example. You definitely need an IEP for alternative assessment, and parents must be informed that their child's achievement is being measured against alternative achievement standards. That's important because participation in such assessments may delay or otherwise affect the student from completing the requirements for a regular high school diploma. Many of the students taking the California alternative assessments are not on a diplomatic track, and even if they are, that doesn't necessarily, maybe they're not on a diploma track, maybe they are, but it does not preclude a student with most significant cognitive disabilities who take an AA, alternative assessment, from attempting to try and complete a regular high school diploma. So there are students that do complete a high school diploma. The work I used mainly for this was related to the California Department of Education and the California Alternative Assessment. And there also was a very helpful several videos that I watched, but the one I'm referencing here is from the California Alternative Assessment Guidance for IEP. Well, that was from the website, but the YouTube video from the California Department of Education actually on alternate assessment. So that is my presentation. I hope you learned some things. Thank you.